Welcome to our Self-Sabotage Be Gone workshop. I'm Rachel Wood. I am a relationship and life coach and founder of Creative Pathways Coaching. You heard the expression, you are your own worst enemy. This expression is particularly familiar and true for individuals who self-sabotage. How many times have you acted against your own self-interest and then asked yourself why you did what you did? Why did you say that terrible thing to a loved one? Why have we stopped doing something that usually makes us feel great? Self-sabotaging thoughts and behaviours are perpetuated by our inner critic, a critic we all possess. So all of us do. This inner critic, this inner voice, represents a part of ourselves, so inside, that sort of turns negative. Usually from self-limiting beliefs that we hold about ourselves or the situation we're in or the world in general, really. It casts doubts on our abilities, undermines our desires, and convinces us to be suspicious towards ourselves and others who are close to us. It is this critic with its limiting and negative beliefs that fills our mind with critical self-analysis and self-sabotaging thoughts that lead us to hold back or steer away from what we want. So let's really go into where self-sabotage comes from here. Our critical inner voice is formed from our early life experiences. We internalize the values, beliefs, and attitudes that were directed towards us by our parents or caregivers throughout our childhood. For example, if our parents saw us as lazy, we may grow up feeling useless or unproductive. We may then engage in self-sabotaging thoughts that tell us that not to try, why bother? You'll never succeed anyway. You just don't have the ability or effort to get anything done, so hey, why bother? Does that resonate for you at all? This lazy one does for me. Also, as children, we can internalize negative beliefs and attitudes that our parents or caregivers have towards themselves. So if we grew up with a self-hating parent who often viewed themselves as weak or as a failure, ugly, fat, stupid, for example, we may grow up with very similar self-sabotaging beliefs about ourselves. For example, if our parent felt critical about their appearance, we may take on similar insecurities without realizing it. We may obsess about our appearance or feel easily self-conscious and less sure of ourselves in social situations. And then there are different ways we self-sabotage. The most common way is through trying to give up a certain behavior. For example, smoking, overeating, addiction of some kind. Or trying to add a habit or a behavior to our life, like exercise, healthy eating, meditation. But there are other ways that we self-sabotage too. When we're striving for a goal, like a degree at uni, we may play up and fail a few units. When we're striving for a career goal at work and we don't put the effort in. So why do we self-sabotage? Let's have a look at some of the beliefs and thoughts here. Maybe we feel we don't deserve it. We can be fearful of change, but usually it can go deeper than this. We can fear failure. We can fear success. We can fear disappointment, our own disappointment. We can be striving for something that we may not really want, that career, but it was about the expectations of others wanting this result, not really what we wanted. Maybe it's about a need inside us that's not being fulfilled, for example. An example here, say you're trying to lose weight by eating less junk food, but you still keep buying McDonald's, every third night rather than making dinner yourself. Now you're making some progress by not having takeout every night, but you're still eating junk food. This can be because although you may want to have a better body and be healthier, there's a need in you that needs to be treated, for example. Maybe you work all the time, so there's a part of you that needs that treat. Even if you don't work hard, that's not the issue. Maybe you felt as a child you missed out on lots of good stuff in your childhood. And there's a part of you that needs to give to yourself so that you feel that you're not missing out again. Does that sound, any of that sound familiar to you? So what do you do here in this scenario? You can start to identify and get clear that part of you needs to eat this junk food. What could you replace this junk food with instead? What would work? So you're still giving to yourself, but it's not junk food. For some people, it can be treating themselves to a massage. This is one of mine. But for others, it needs to be other things. Sometimes it means sitting with yourself and really asking that other part of you, what do I need? What can I give you that can help make you feel okay, to feel valued, to feel loved? If you decide to do this, take your time with this. Meditation can work well in getting in touch with the inner you, just that little bit easier. I have a client who as a child had a reward chart from the time she was 3 years old. When I started working with her, it was clear that she suffered from people-pleasing, perfectionism, fear of change, but what was really concerning for her was her self-sabotaging she did, particularly with regards to caring for herself, including healthy eating and exercise. With working with her self-care routines and keeping them in place while she had bouts of regular depression and anxiety, what she put into place to manage her self-sabotage was to go back to her reward charts. She would get what she needed to get done for work, exercise, food preparation, study, with a scented sticker for each job. And then after she completed a certain amount of jobs, she gave herself a reward. That jumper she wanted, that foot massage. Not the unhealthy food she usually went straight for. And what she found is that she stopped self-sabotaging with food, but she also didn't feel guilty for spending that money on herself like she did before. It was earned. Something to think about as a technique you could use. So think outside the box here. Another client spent years trying to give up smoking. So another one of my clients. She said that she would give up smoking at least 5 times a year, but it would only last between 2 or 4 weeks before she took it back. So she'd been doing this for years. One of the things that was noticeable to me when she spoke about this situation was that she was in a close family with her sister and her mum actually living very close by. But both her and her sister hid their smoking habit from their mother. They were in their late 30s and their mother had, according to them, had no idea they'd ever smoked. According to them, I suspect the mother knew more than she was letting on. Anyway, with time, she came to realise that the smoking was for her a way of doing, excuse the French, but a fuck you at her mother. Her mother was quite a domineering character from what my client had said previously. And so it became clear that this was why it persisted in my client's life. Once we went a bit deeper and got clear with some of the resentment towards her mother and the ways in which to discuss this with her mother and get closure, she was then finally able to successfully give up smoking. So you can see that the self-sabotaging in this scenario had to do with the resentment she had towards her mother, hiding a part of her life from her mother so that she felt that she had some control over it, the need to have some power in her life, the need that came from her childhood experiences with her mother. See how self-sabotage can work? So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below to see future ones. I post a new one every Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, depending on your time zone. And remember, you can book a coaching package with me or check out my other resources on my website and subscribe to Creative Pathways Facebook and Instagram. All links are in the description below. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.